All right, what's up? Tim Sykes here. Confession time. I'm not proud of this trade. In fact, I'm thoroughly embarrassed, but at the same time, I have to talk about it. I gotta, show you what I did wrong. Finished down on the day a little over 7,000. Completely unacceptable. I often preach about cutting losses quickly. I often preach about how small gains adding up are good, but your gains have to be bigger than your losses. And I did not listen. So, let's go over the whole day and you can learn from what I did right and wrong. Leave a comment underneath this video if at any time I get the point across to you saying that I must be meticulous. I want you to write, I must be meticulous. You must be meticulous. I must be meticulous. Trading is a very slippery slope if you are not meticulous. And as I said, I still can't believe that I did such a dumbass trade. I was trading like a freaking newbie. And you guys are newbies, so you have an excuse. You don't know any better. It's like, a little kid who breaks the rules and they don't know the consequences. I am a grown man, a veteran trader. I know better, and I still broke the rules. So, what happened? Pre-market, I had a nice $600 win on ALTS to start the week. It was uptrending quite nicely. I was up early, as I always suggest. And this matters because this one trade got me into a very cocky mindset. And it's crazy to me. Like it's literally crazy that I could still get so cocky when I tell you guys to be disciplined and stay humble. But 4:43 a.m. Eastern, I'm buying this pre-market runner in the 15s. I'm like, how far can it go? I thought it could go to the 16s or 17s. So I was buying it right in here, right on this green candle. And, it doesn't look like much, but it kept going right in here. And it was pretty amazing. Holding up here at 16-ish, then going all the way up to 20. So I only took like a little over $1 a share, but the fact that it went to 20 made me think, oh my God, I'm so dead on. I should take bigger positions. I should be more aggressive. So I have that thought in my head. I go to work out, okay? So I'm trading mobile. This is my first mistake. If you're trading mobile, you cannot trade big. You cannot be trying to do something else. I was literally working out, and my friend who I was working out with, he can testify. He was just laughing at what a damn degenerate I was. Because if you're at the gym and you're lifting, you should be focused on the gym. You shouldn't be trading, especially on your mobile phone. In between sets, okay? My friend and I are doing, different sets where it's like, he does, what do we do today? Shoulders. He does 12 reps, then I do 12 reps. While he's doing the 12 reps, I start buying this stock again. And this was, I think, arguably the single dumbest trade of my career. Like I talk about my previous dumb trade here, but this dumb trade, and I'll link this on BMGL, it was a bigger dollar loss, but the problem here was that I didn't even know I was in the trade. So there was literally nothing I could do. This was me not being meticulous, like having an open order, but I didn't even realize I was in the trade. This one, I realized I was in the trade. This one, I'm literally trading on my mobile phone like a damn degen as I'm working out. And do you want to know why? Just wait. You want to know why? You can't really see it now because, I've done multiple trades and I should have done this video like earlier. But for the year, I'm now at like 92,000. Before this loss, I was at $99,930. I was $70 away from an even $100,000. So I'm thinking to myself, as I'm doing this stupid trade, I'm trying to buy this, and this was at 8:23 a.m. Eastern. So this was, that was when I posted it. Sorry. It wasn't at 8:23 when I did the trade. This was when I finally got access to post it. I started buying this thing in the 18s right here. I got a little unlucky, but again, the thing had nearly hit 20, did hit 20, and then right here it nearly hit 20. So I didn't respect this triple top, which is what it turned out to be. I'm just trying to make $70. I'm thinking, oh, I think my first entry was like 1830-ish or something, 1820-ish. I'm thinking, let me get a little dip buy in here, 1820, 1830. It's probably going to test the 19s or the 20s, and I can get over $100,000. That was the thought process. And some people said, like, why didn't I alert it? Well, it started dropping almost immediately, like within, I mean, again, I'm buying this stock on my phone in between sets of lifting weights. You literally cannot get more degenerate than that. Like in between sets, meaning I have to do a set in about 30 seconds, and I'm trying to, open a position and think that, it'll probably still spike another dollar or two. So, I think my first buy was like 300 shares. And I was like, well, I think, it might be a good dip buy. So literally buying 300 shares. And then I flipped to Profitly on my phone because, I'm trying to alert every play. And literally as I'm flipping, lack of aggression, I'm thinking that this is going to go right back up because it's pre-market and it's a crypto play. I didn't even check the news. So again, mistake number one, trading in between sets while weightlifting. And again, I'll have my friend explain this eventually one day. I'll get him on camera. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he doesn't have a choice because he was there. Don't trade in between sets while lifting. Two, don't try a little dip buy just expecting that it's going to go back to the highs. It was just a stupid, irresponsible buy in the first place. But then I compounded the error by not following rule number one and cutting losses because, again, I'm thinking I have to get to 100,000 on the year. At this point, I'm already down like 300 or 400. So I'm going the other way. So I keep averaging down. I keep buying. And again, I'm not even checking the news. And this is all within like 30 seconds. It drops. In 30 seconds, it drops from like 16 down to 12 or 13. So here I'm down like 2 or 3 grand. And I have a chance to get out down 2 or 3 grand. But again, in my head, I'm thinking, no way. This is going to bounce back to 20. And I want to get over 100,000, on the year. Stratty, I don't know if you guys realize this. Stratty is one of the millionaires. He's closing in on $1 million, and he's been stuck at like 970, 960, 900, now 990,000 for like a month. And he's closing in on $1 million, but I'm just closing in on 100,000 year to date. We're both so mentally screwed up with these milestones. It's sad. I just posted a video about Stratty and like him trying to overcome the milestone difficulties. This entire trade was done because I wanted to make $70 to get over $100,000. I knew I had to do a video because it's like I need to just rebuke myself. I have to confess my sins. This could be the single dumbest trade where I'm trying to make $70 and I lose $9,000. Like, that's terrible risk reward. But that's legit what happened. And, I didn't even get a chance. There's a few good things. It's good that I'm like sharing this and hopefully you can learn from it. But because it was tanking so fast and like I'm averaging down, I don't even know my exact average price. Some people say, well, what's your average price? I don't even know. On my phone, again, in between sets of weightlifting, I'm adding 200, trying to get my average down, not even realizing that there's freaking news. They did an offering. I'm literally averaging down on a stock that did an offering, and they're doing the offering at $7.50 a share. So they already announced that the offering is at $7.50, and I'm dip buying like a damn idiot. 15, 14, 13, 12. I'm like fumbling my phone. I'm trying to write out the alert. Every time I try to write out the alert and then flip back, it's down another $2 or $3. This happened in 2 minutes. Okay? So, somewhere in that minute or minute and a half, I decided like I can't even send out the alert. Let me just get out of this position. And of course I sold, near the lows in the 8s and the 7s. It did actually eventually bounce to the 9s. But like I held down like $7, $8 a share. And I'm averaging in unaware that there's a freaking financing. So, I mean, let's just count the mistakes here. Mistake number one, trading in between sets while weightlifting. That's a no-no. Number two, trading on my phone without knowing the news and also flipping between screens on my browser on my phone where I'm trying to, find out what my entry price is and I'm trying to write out the alert. Mistake number three, I could have easily just cut the losses and lost, I think at my lowest, I think I was down. I mean, it was all within seconds. I think I was down like 2,000 or 3,000, like 2,500, I want to say. There was a second. I don't even know if I could have gotten it. As I started seeing it add up, I also didn't mean to take, a $9,000 loss. I did try to sell. It's not like I sold all at once. But as it was dropping, I made another mistake where this is literally like it was 4 minutes. Okay, good. I'm on a 2 minute chart. It wasn't like a minute and a half. I'm like, I think it was more time. So it was 4 minutes. But either way, I had a chance to get out, but I'm putting limit orders to get out because I don't want to sell right at the low. And so as it's dropping, I mean, it drops from like 13.7 to like 13. And I put my limit to sell at like 13.30. And instead of just selling it at 13 or 12.90 or 12.80, I try to make back like 50 cents a share because I just don't want to sell at the low. Meanwhile, it's dropping $1 a share like every 10 seconds. And I'm trying to save 30, 40 cents a share. Absolute moron. So, from why I started the trade to make the $70 to where I'm trading from in the gym with weak Wi-Fi, from where I'm trying to, open multiple tabs on my phone with the alert and the position, not cutting losses immediately, trying to get a somewhat better exit and letting myself slide down this whole slippery slope. And most of all, not knowing about the financing. Literally, if I had known about the financing, all I had to do was check the news. But I did not check the news. It was so fast. There was a play like this, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago? EFTR. I had another dumbass pre-market big loss, and that was a financing too, and I didn't know about it. So same mistake, fool me once, fool me twice. That saying applies. I've never been in it. Could have cut losses. The only good thing is that I only had roughly 1,500 shares. I'm like buying 100 shares, 200 share blocks. This is why I'm trading with such a small account. The market is choppy, and I have to control my degeneracy. And the worst part is, I was closing in on 100,000. That's 100,000 is completely gone. We're in like mid-August. I just lost all of my gains from the past 2 weeks. Luckily, I'm trading with a small account, and it could have been worse, right? Imagine if I'm trading with a big account and I'm buying 5,000 share blocks at a time, and I have, let's say some big traders would have had like 50,000 shares. I mean, this would have been like a $400,000 loss if I was trading big, like many big traders trade. I was just completely wrong. Every mistake in the book, and I deserve this loss. So forget about my stupid, $600 win. This $9,000 loss really, brought me down to size. It still blows my mind that I could be this dumb, after 25 years. I really encourage you to watch this. I'll link this. This was my, other worst trade. This was in June. So I guess a little over 2 months ago. And I made back all these losses, and now I'm going to have to work to make back these losses. But this was my previous dumbest trade of 2025. But to be fair, I just wasn't meticulous. I didn't even know I had the position. This other one, I knew I had the position and I completely bungled it. So I'll link that video lesson. I encourage you to watch that. But this is what trading is. You have to be meticulous. It is a very, very slippery slope, especially when you're trading big percent gainers, especially when you're trading pre-market or after hours. Just dumb. And then for the rest of the day, I took some small gains. I had an over the weekend trade. I made $500, roughly 10% on ALEC. Not too bad. And then 2 little intraday dip buys on TLS and BTA, both of which went higher. The lesson here is, TLS I was in the 360s. it got up. It was gradually uptrending. I actually had a pretty good entry right in here. Didn't really want to trade right near the open. I had to take like 2 or 3 hours time out. I got a dip buy on this earnings winner that was consistently uptrending. I actually got a pretty good entry. Not a great sell, but again, when you have a big loss like I do, you're not trying to like come up with like the next big win. You're trying to stop the slide. And sometimes a $200 win is good. And then BTAI, this was another play I got on a dip buy in the fives, and we were just watching it after hours. It just spiked another dollar a share after hours. But I was buying this, what time? 2:01 p.m., like right in here. So it was already up, and I'm dip buying it. It didn't really offer that much opportunity. And some people say, why not be more aggressive? BTAI is a day 6 runner, okay? So you have to have perspective. I am not going to be aggressive after a big loss. And I'm not going to be aggressive, let alone, day 6, but like let alone day 5, day 4, day 3, day 2. I'll be more aggressive on first green days. But the longer it goes up, this is just a short squeeze. Any one of these breakouts can be a double top. It could be a fake out breakout. Any one of these shorts can just slam it. And we might have just seen the top here, in the 740s. We'll see how this acts tomorrow. But, again, I'm just like on TLS, I'm trying to ride it a little bit and just chip away at my big loss. So between ALEC, TLS, and BTAI here, this is $1,000, 3 trades. Again, nothing huge, but $1,000 a day keeps the real job away. I used to say $2K a day keeps the real job away, but I got to be more conservative. These are 3 good trades. So, I didn't do everything wrong today. The biggest thing I did wrong was doing everything wrong on ALTS. And literally my friend who I was lifting with is still laughing. Like, he's like, I can't believe you. And I'm like, I know. I would assign myself burpees, but, we've been lifting and, working out pretty hard lately. I can't even like really move. I think tomorrow's going to have to be a rest day. I don't need to do burpees to know that I screwed up. I feel better doing this confessional video. Hopefully you can learn from it. Don't try to trade while in between sets at the gym. If you are trading with a mobile phone, make sure you know the news. Don't just trade blind. Don't try to, reach a milestone, whether it's 100,000 for me on the year or whether it's Stratty closing in on 1 million. You can't cheat your way to success, okay? We all want to do these milestones, but it's so much more important to focus on good setups with good habits, with good practice. Then the milestones will come on their own. Like we humans, we like these milestones. I like round numbers. I wanted to brag about how I was up 100,000. Instead, literally lost $9,000 while trying to make 70. Legit, the worst risk reward trade in my entire career. And that's why I wanted to do a video. The only good thing is that you can learn from it. So again, please leave a comment underneath this. Say, I will be meticulous, learn from my mistakes. I think I might actually have to give up mobile trading because I just can't trust myself. Like that's how much of a degenerate addict I am sometimes. And this trade proves it. So I think I might go back to just using my laptop. A lot of these plays move so fast. So I've kind of gravitated towards using my mobile phone lately. But, this trade really opens my eyes to my lack of discipline sometimes, especially when I'm, flipping back and forth, trying to trade and trying to alert. Like it's just a bad setup. And I know you guys were confused because like I didn't even alert. And you're like, what are you talking about? You didn't alert. How did you have a big loss? Because I was literally in the trade for like 4 or 5 minutes. And, halfway through that holding period, I realized like I shouldn't be in it. And B, like I couldn't even type fast enough and I had to watch the stock to try to get out anyways. So everything just fell apart all at once. And, this is why I say cutting losses quickly is so key. Discipline is so key. Being meticulous is so key. Yeah, you can say I got a little unlucky with the offering, definitely a little unlucky. But if you're trading these kinds of plays, offerings are going to come about. I know Eduardo, one of my millionaire students, he was caught in an offering today. And Stratty, who's trying to get over 1 million, I think he finished a little up on the day, but he was down like $6,000 earlier today. He was caught in an offering on SBET. So offerings happen, slippery slopes happen, these big panics, these big intraday panics happen. And you really just have to be careful. I don't care what the news is. I don't care what any other trader says. You have to focus on yourself, and you can't open yourself up to destruction like this. I did everything wrong, getting into the trade wrong, at the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong pattern. But at any point, I could have cut the losses better. And I literally watched it go down. I think the first time I saw it was like 15. So I was already down like $2.50 or $3 a share. But I easily could have put in a sell order at 15 or 14 or 13 and gotten executed. But I didn't want to take the loss. And so I think I put in 3 or 4 orders where I put in my sell order like 30 or 40 cents a share higher than where the bid and ask were, thinking that I could sell into a bounce so I wouldn't sell at the absolute low, completely unaware that they did an offering where they announced it at $7.50. So anybody buying in the 15s, 14s, 13s, 12s, 11s, 10s, 9s, or even 8s, you're dumb, okay? You're dumb. And if you were buying as this is dipping and you knew the news, then, at least you have that lesson. When a company announces an offering, specifically a play that's already up so much on the day, mind you, like what this stock was trading for a few days ago, okay? This stock was trading in the 8s. So when they announced their offering, and frankly, even before here, just the other day, it was trading in the 6s. So you have to be aware of how far it's come. Not every play is destined to go true parabolic like BMNR or CYN did a few days ago and a few other plays. Most plays will disappoint you. Maybe not as fast and as harsh as this. This is one of the biggest offerings and the biggest drops. But if you play with fire, like I was, trying to hit my milestone, trading from the gym, unaware, unprepared with news, you play with fire like that, you won't get burned every time, but eventually you will get burned. And then the question is, how badly will you get burned? Probably the only thing I did right, I need to emphasize, is that I've wired out and I'm trading with a small account because this market is so choppy. But as this trade proves, I can't even trust myself. Screw the choppy market. So now I have to just, take it one good trade at a time. I have to earn back the right to trade with a bigger account size. And I really do think like today might be the last mobile trading day that I have. Even if I miss some of these fast moving plays, like I can't trade well and alert well and check the news with just a little mobile phone. It's just not possible. You guys have it a little easier because you just have to trade and check the news. You don't have to alert. But for me, it's just too much. And, I got to make some changes. Whenever you have a big loss, you got to look at your process. You got to adapt and you have to change the process if something's broken. And the biggest glaring mistake for me was, obviously I made a bunch of mistakes, but just the fact that it was mobile trading and mobile trading really left me unprepared. And I deserve this loss. So that's the lesson. Hopefully you learn from it. Maybe you can laugh at what a moron I am. Don't cry for me. It's okay. I'm still up and I trade for charity. Cry for the charities because now I can't donate as much, but I think I'll probably just donate an extra $9,000 of my money saved up over the years so that the charities don't have to suffer my own stupidity. That's today's lesson.